The Meyer lemon is definitely naked. Hey garden friends, welcome back to Not Quite Homesteading, ESK Garden. Today I'm taking you guys on an end of month tour of the garden. So it is March 30th and we are 2 days out obviously from April and our next direct sowing session. So I wanted to bring you guys along, see what changes we've made in the garden, see how some of our crops are doing, and just taking a look at how the hard work has been paying off. So I appreciate you guys for stopping in for another video. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, if you're a gardening enthusiast, love a good gardening journey, or if you're just a new gardener yourself looking for community support, definitely hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let's engage and have some fun around gardening. So I'm going to start kind of with some of our little seedlings and what we have going on here. These are our pepper plants that were once attacked by the squash bug, and since and apparently a spider is living inside of there, but since we've had pretty significant like actual spring weather, these have grown really quickly. This is my mint plant. This was really slow growing during the colder months, but now it's starting to pick up. I'm actually going to be transplanting that out pretty soon into its own pot. And then these are some of our other pepper plants that we started, and I say that we started the same time as these down here, but these took a little bit longer to germinate, so they're starting to really put on like their true leaves and gain a little bit of, I guess, girth if that's what you call, if that's like the equivalent of what you call, you know, getting big in the plant world. But everything is looking good. We're definitely going to be transplanting these out starting tomorrow, and I have been waiting only because we had yesterday, it was down to like the 40s, like I would say mid 40s for nighttime, and I didn't want to subject the plants to transplant shock and then immediately have it be cool at night. I actually had transplanted some plants out, I want to say a day or two ago, and then I had put them inside my screen patio. Exactly what I expected would have happened with these happened to those. So some of them kind of didn't make it, they keeled over or whatever, and they're just pretty much done at this point. So I didn't want, especially not with those peppers, for that to be, you know, what happened. So I just kind of left them there, and they're still looking good. So our lettuce and our spinach are doing really, really well. I did have at some point some aphids kind of rolling around. I think they had laid a few eggs on like the lettuce leaves. I did spray them down with some water as well as some neem oil. And let me tell you something. If you've been using neem oil in the spray bottle, definitely no shade because I've used it since I started gardening. There is a significant difference between the effectiveness of the stuff that is pre-mixed versus actually going out and buying the concentrate and mixing it yourself. The smell on concentrated neem oil is enough to send you packing. So if you haven't invested in concentrated neem oil, my suggestion is do so. Since I sprayed these plants, and my goal right now is to start spraying them probably once a week. I want to get out ahead of the pest presence for sure. The only thing I've really been dealing with up to this point are the aphids and slugs, and the slugs just creep me out completely. So, you know, I've been kind of taking my little deadly shovel at them, but I sprayed these plants and it's been literally minimal to no pest activity. So I think there is some valid point in and definitely some value in spraying your plants ahead of any trouble that you might have. You know, do it once a week, do it maybe once every 2 weeks if you feel strongly about not wanting to spray them at all. I haven't really had to spray them up until this point, but I found that the concentrated neem oil is really effective, and then it should help kind of deter pest activity around your plants. So these are the parsnips that we planted, and you know, I still don't know when these are supposed to be ready. I'm pretty sure I have a little stick in there. I'm usually reluctant to stick my hand in the plant unless I know I'm like taking something out of there. But I think we're getting pretty close. The tops of parsnips get really, really long at the point that they're ready. So this, you can see like here is starting to get like super long compared to some of the other leaves. Similar to carrots, but carrots don't necessarily have to grow really long leaves in order to be, you know, have a nice sized carrot. These, on the other hand, they seem to get really, really long leaves. And that's, I think, an indicator of when they're ready. These are our pea plants. I'm sorry about the darkness, y'all. Trying to record this in like partial shade. These have been producing pretty well. You can see like the plants, they're starting to climb along the little makeshift trellis that I made here. I think I'm at the point where now I have probably about 2 full quart-sized bags of snow peas, and we're obviously still picking snow peas. There are several hanging on. Now I will say, I noticed this on a lot of the snow peas. If you guys know what that is, or have had experience with it, let me know. And I don't know if that's just something that happens as the plant ages, but I'm starting to see it like more and more. Initially it was like one here and there. I figured something maybe attacked the plant, but it's literally about one every day now, at least. My parsley plant, Miss Beloved herself, I think she's trying to flower, if I'm being honest. This looks like it's about to flower. I have not trimmed my plant. I haven't really even used any of the parsley lately, and I really want to cut this back. I would hate for this plant to flower, but I want to be able to dehydrate it once I cut it. Like, I don't want to just have all this parsley in the house and, you know, it's not really doing anything. I'd rather leave it on the plant where it can stay alive until I'm ready to use it. So I'm hoping to get a preservation solution pretty soon for this so that I can cut it back and my plant doesn't end up flowering. Our Snow White Alyssum is blooming and looking so pretty, and my husband came out the other day and was like, oh, these are really pretty. And I was like, I know they are. So I'm loving these. I think what I am going to do with those is once they get a little bit bigger, I'm probably going to transplant some of them out into the garden. That way we can have some flower activity in some of the beds. I'm a little hesitant about putting flowers in the beds, to be honest, because I know that a lot of them can kind of take over. But I do want some of them closer to the bed. So I don't know, maybe I'll leverage the grow bags. I'm not really sure right now, but I do want to get them out and mixed in with the vegetables. So I think I spoke about this. The hyacinth definitely did not make it. And this little plant here that someone was so kind as to kind of give me some advice to say that this plant really should have come alive again in the spring, and I thought it would. It even still looks like it has buds, but nothing has happened. So I'm a little hesitant to leave it. I'm pretty sure this is a mum. I'm hesitant to leave it because I really don't want to have anything taking up space that is not providing anything for the garden. So if I would say by maybe middle of April, this hasn't opened up and bloomed, I'm definitely going to take it out. And by that point, I think it will be time to transplant my marigolds or start transplanting them. And then I'd rather just have those kind of like take up that space if I can. So what I'm about to show y'all is a part of my little experiment that I did with direct sowing tomatoes in semi-freezing temperatures. And I have to say, Out of all the tomatoes that I started, I think these two look the best. So I don't know. I'm not telling anybody to, do this or follow this. But nature has a way of making things work in her favor. And I'm finding that with, just being able to kind of direct sow quite a lot of these things. Now, of course, if you're somewhere where it's extremely rigid and, temperatures are freezing cold, I'm not saying that this would be successful. I'm not saying it won't either, because we've seen clear examples of people allow tomato trees to die back and the next year they come right back up. So, there is something to be said about, I guess, the seed can take care of itself, and once it has the right conditions, it will come up when it feels like it's ready to do so. So these are the 2 Roma tomato plants that I planted in here, and if I can find a clip, I'll put it in, but if I can't, I think you can still see just the general health of both of these plants. Even when they look like they were not going to make it in the beginning, these plants, the root systems, the stems kind of give way to the fact that there's a really healthy root system developing down there, and these plants look really, really good. My Taderna leeks are starting to get a little bit of width to them, and those are looking good. These now, because I planted them in spring, I'm not certain if these will be summer harvest. These are a longer growing leek, and my understanding is planting them in the spring was supposed to give me kind of an end of summer, maybe early fall crop. I think these are going to mature way sooner than that. So I guess we'll see what happens around those, but I don't think it's going to take another 100 days for these to be harvestable. Coming out to the new bed, so you guys will absolutely have seen this by the time you see this video, but we have some things that I transplanted, but also some things that I've direct sowed since we actually did our tomato transplant together. So in this little corner, we have 4 indeterminate variety tomatoes. This last one, that's the largest, is our clementine, and that's an orange cherry tomato. The one next to it is a regular cherry tomato. I have a San Marzano that's looking amazing over here, and then another cherry tomato, and I'm pretty certain that this one is also a clementine. And then up here I have 3 more Roma tomatoes. 2 of them are looking really good. One is looking, truthfully, like it's not going to make it. So the beauty of that is I can, if I need to, transplant one of the other ones from out of that bag that look really, really good into this bed and take the place of this one right here. Now, I did this a little bit after, and I took some time to figure out what I could really put in here after I planted the tomatoes, because I didn't want to over plan for the bed and then not have the adequate space that I needed. But in that corner over there with that little pink name tag thing, I have some Swiss chard planted behind there. All of this in here is radishes, and then I have the icicle radish going this way. I believe those are all French breakfast radishes up that way. On this edge here, I planted some mustard as a trap crop, so I'm hoping that helps out the tomatoes quite a bit. And then up front here, which we have some sprouts starting to come up, we have some Genovese basil, we have some Bloomsdale long-standing spinach. Now, I don't know how long this is going to stand, but let's hope for the best. And then in this little corridor here, I have some common chives that I planted also as a companion plant to the tomatoes. Our onions are looking great. Of course, some of them are not bulbing. Some of them are not as big as they could be. But we do have some that look like they are beginning to bulb. Some are wider than others. Sorry, y'all, about the net. But we will have a better solution for this pretty soon. So things will be able to be seen more clearly. But I don't know if you guys can see that in there. Like I can see this one. It's a red onion that's starting to get a little bit wider. Prepping to bulb. On this side, I have some turnips that have started to come up pretty quickly. Oh, I actually have a celery sprout. How nice. I've been waiting on that. That's awesome. I have my lettuces. So I have some iceberg lettuce right there in that centerpiece. Of course, I have some more Chioggia red beets up front. And then I have bib lettuce at the front middle there. Some butterhead lettuce on the left side, and then I have some pak choi in that like center front as well. Collards are still going strong over here. I'm actually contemplating pulling these out, but these grew really quickly over the last week since it's been warm. I'm not sure how much more they're going to give because it is kind of warm for them, but I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do with the plant. I also have collards on this side. And then it looks like our red cabbages finally want to do something. I don't know if taking out the green cabbages gave them the room that they need, but it seems like they're starting to try to head. So I'm hoping I'm not, delusional at this point. And of course, our kale is still going strong. I have one that's flowered. I'm probably going to take that out when I change over the netting in the next couple of weeks. And then we have lots of lettuce on this side as well. I have my mini romaine over here that is similar to the other one I showed you guys in the grow bag. We have some regular winter density romaine. Apparently it looks like a wasp got in there. I just saw him fly around. I have my Crispino lettuce, which the slugs tried to attack, and I had to get them out of there. I just sprayed a ton of diatomaceous earth off of those today. And then I have a butterhead lettuce that is heading up so beautifully. I can't wait to pull that. I'm probably going to do my final harvest maybe like tomorrow or something. I want to get inside and make sure there are no slugs in there. Our garlic is looking really good as well. And then the celery is a bush now. So I'm hoping that this is not trying to bolt. I definitely want to harvest that before it gets any bigger. But it looks like we got some pretty decent stalks under there. I waited so long for this, y'all. You have no idea. Oh, that's a big fly. But I'm excited about that. In our little grow bags here, which I want to show y'all. I don't know if you guys noticed, I didn't go through a ton of bags on the patio. So our new setup here, which I'm going to extend this a little bit in order to reclaim my patio. This is the grow bag setup now. So basically, as the garden continues to grow, this is going to kind of be encased a little bit, and that will allow me to have the grow bags as a part of the garden instead of on the patio. My goal is to keep them off the patio. And the reason being is, for one, I like having the patio space available. I will keep some things, probably like these little planters, things for flowers, that kind of stuff, and some of the fruit plants and trees. But look at my patio. Do y'all see the dirt, the circles, the buildup? And it just, to me, it looks gross. I don't like it. And it makes it very difficult when it's time to clean the concrete, to just kind of have like all this soil and dust and dirt to get off the actual patio. So I prefer to have, like I said, a kind of like neat aesthetic here. And when things get too crazy as far as just like being out of order, it actually bugs me. So I don't want that. I want everything to be where it belongs in the garden, and you know, anything that's up here will hopefully lend to some just kind of scenic value. I will say that. So in this little baggie here, we have 2 borage plants. I transplanted my Swiss chard plants that were in the patio outside, and then this is my other Roma tomato. Now this one does look really good too. This is probably still not looking as strong as the other 2, but it still does look good. We have our King Richard leeks, which they size up at different times, but we do have one that has like a really good onion size to it, or leek size to it. So really pleased with these so far. These are my Imperator carrots, so definitely at a point where I think they need to be thinned for sure. But y'all know how I feel about thinning carrots at this point. I'll do it, I guess, once they really start forming their taproots. These are the golden beets, which it is time for these to come out. I have a couple of radishes still inside of here. This plant is covered in diatomaceous earth. I had some slugs attacking the leaves, so we'll be pulling those out pretty soon, as well as these red beets. I really want to start to open up all space for peppers and tomatoes and eggplants, so I can get those things in. I do have more beets growing in the bed, which is fine. I probably will put down some more of these golden beets too and squeeze them in between some of these plants, but for the most part I really want to focus now on my warm season crops. Green onions are still looking okay. I'm probably going to cut these back and pull some of these out again. The ones that I cut back previously, they actually grew back. I was hoping they wouldn't grow back, but green onions are resilient. It is hard to kill a green onion once you get it growing. You guys can see the flowering one fell over, and I don't know why it did that, but I am gonna go ahead and pull that pretty soon before all of these seeds blow everywhere. There's another one that's trying to flower in here, but I'm not going to let it. I'm gonna pull all of the ones that are older and any of them that look diseased. The other thing that didn't happen in here, my cucumbers have not yet sprouted, so I think I'm gonna have to replant those. Now I don't know if it was too cold for the cucumbers when I did this. It could have been, but they haven't done anything, so we have to get those restarted. We have our Nantes carrots, which have great greens, but those are definitely still sizing up. So I've pulled a few. They were okay in size, but I want them to get a tad bit bigger before I pull them completely. And then some of our red dragon carrots that still need to size up. They really are about a handful in here, but I probably will pull those maybe in like the next few weeks, and then we'll open this space up to plant peppers and tomatoes. And then I just transplanted this Swiss chard out here. I have a virtually empty 20 gallon bag. In the center, I'm going to be transplanting peppers into that once we get out and transplant after tonight, making sure that, you know, we're not going below like 50 degrees after this. I have Swiss chard in that bag too, so that's where I transplanted the other Swiss chards out. And then in this bag over here, we have more tomatoes. These are actually indeterminate tomatoes, most of them too. I'm gonna figure out some little concoction of a system to string these two, but this is an early girl tomato. This is one of, I think, 3 plants that I'm planting of these. I have another two cherry tomatoes, which is pretty nice. I think those are both cherry tomatoes. I have another San Marzano that's quite a bit lagging behind the other 2. And then I actually direct seeded what looks like a sprout over here. Oh, yes. I direct seeded 2 orange Jubilee tomato seeds because for some reason I could not find my orange Jubilee tomato seeds. I don't know what happened to them. I'm pretty sure I started them and they just disappeared and are gone. My rosemary plant needs a trim, but it still looks good. The Meyer lemon is definitely naked. I hope these leaves grow back for sure. I know citrus, even though they put on a ton of fruit very early, they drop a ton of it and then they'll regrow, you know, as the season continues. So that's what I've heard. I'm not really worried about it, but the plants do look a little skimpy. And then my key lime tree is still looking pretty good. And then over in this little corner, we have some of our herbs finally sprouting up. The fenugreek has been sprouted for a bit, but you can see that it looks like we have a lemongrass sprout, which is pretty nice. Those take a very long time to come up. As of right now, it's only one, but I'm hoping that it will come up pretty soon. I have some black cumin seeds over here that haven't sprouted yet. Our sage, thyme, or marjoram, none of them have sprouted as of yet, but these do take a really long time to germinate. And then we have on this side, it looks like we got a little lemon balm sprout over here. Our peppermint and our Corsican mint have not yet sprouted. Raspberries are doing pretty nicely. We seem to have a weed in here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out in a little bit. I also have some rootstock leaves that seem to be growing. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut that back. And then we have, that was the Ann raspberry. Those leaves are really pretty and big. This is our mammoth raspberry. So they're sprouting their leaves in a few places. And this is the autumn bliss. So all the raspberry plants are looking really well. These are the bare root strawberry plants that I planted, not doing anything yet. I literally just got these into this little pot about 2 days ago. I have a borage plant that I transplanted over here and I'm praying that it survives. If not, I do have one that's further along I can move over here. Our Brightwell blueberry is looking amazing. And then we do have, it looks like finally, some sprouting on this Centurion. The cut that I did, you know, just kind of pruning the tree seems to have awakened it in some areas. There are some areas I still think we need to maybe trim off some more of this wood, but I am trying to give it a chance because it does look like the dead wood is kind of peeling itself off. But you can see the plant is definitely coming alive in some places. There's some very tiny flowers that are starting to sprout. Our dianthus is still hanging on. It seems to be dying back a bit. I don't know the pattern of these plants, and I guess I'm gonna have to check it out. But it seems like they bloom and they die back, and then they bloom and then they die back. And I don't know if that's the plant or if it's me. Maybe I need to pluck these like dead leaves and help it, kind of how you do with marigolds, but I have to figure that out. And then our other hyacinth, the white one, died as well. That is everything, y'all. So this is what we're doing for the end of March. We're 2 days out from April. I'm hoping from here on out we are in the clear, not having any 40-degree weather. I'm really excited to get these pepper plants in the ground. It has been a lot of work up to this point. I know we're all feeling it, but it's also been extremely exciting to just kind of see everything, you know, really taking off, and you know how the plants thrive in the spring well, in the warm weather really, but I appreciate you guys spending some time with me today in the garden, taking a look, seeing what's going on, and as always, continuing to provide encouragement. Your kind words are super appreciated, the encouragement, the advice, all of the above. And let's keep learning, sowing, and growing together, friends. Until our next garden update. Bye.